The Desert Eagle is arguably the most recognizable handgun in the world. From action blockbusters to video games, it is celebrated as the ultimate sidearm of elite soldiers and action heroes. It represents raw power, a massive chambering, and a silhouette that commands authority. Yet, in the real world of military operations, special forces, and law enforcement, this weapon is entirely non-existent. No police department issues it, and no military unit carries it into battle. The reason for this paradox lies deep within the physics of its mechanical engineering. It is not just heavy, it is designed with a fundamental trade-off that compromises the core requirements of combat reliability, speed, and maneuverability. To understand why, we must dissect its mechanical anatomy. Designed in the late 1970s and early 1980s by Magnum Research and refined by Israel Military Industries, the Desert Eagle was never intended to be a combat sidearm. The engineers set out to solve a specific technical challenge: how to build a handgun that could chamber and fire high-power Magnum rifle cartridges, such as the .357 and .44 Magnum, and eventually, the massive .50 Action Express. Standard handguns use a short recoil system where the barrel moves backward with the slide. However, these Magnum rounds generate pressure levels far beyond what a traditional pistol frame can safely absorb. To contain these forces, the designers had to abandon standard handgun mechanics entirely and look toward military rifle designs. To appreciate the engineering challenge, look at the cartridges. A standard military 9mm round generates a muzzle energy of approximately 500 joules. In contrast, the .50 Action Express cartridge fires a massive 300-grain bullet, generating nearly 2,000 joules of energy, 4 times that of a standard sidearm. The chamber pressure exceeds 35,000 pounds per square inch, acting on a bullet face twice the size of a 9mm. If a traditional blowback or short recoil pistol attempted to fire this round, the breech would open prematurely, causing a catastrophic blowout that could destroy the weapon and injure the shooter. The breech must remain locked until the bullet exits the barrel and pressure drops. The designers solved this pressure problem by implementing a gas-operated system, a mechanism standard in assault rifles like the M16 but unique in handguns. The Desert Eagle features a fixed barrel pinned tightly to the frame. A small gas port, measuring only 1.5 mm, is drilled directly into the rifling just ahead of the chamber. When the cartridge ignites, hot, high-pressure propellant gases expand, pushing the bullet forward. Once the bullet passes the gas port, a portion of the high-velocity gas is diverted down into a narrow tube running parallel beneath the barrel. This gas travels to the front of the gun, expanding inside a cylinder where it hits a piston attached to the slide, driving the slide assembly backward. As the gas piston pushes the slide assembly rearward, it interacts with the bolt. The Desert Eagle utilizes a rotating bolt featuring 3 radial locking lugs that lock directly into recesses in the barrel extension. This is identical to the bolt mechanism of modern military rifles. As the slide moves back, a cam pin sliding along a curved groove in the slide forces the bolt to rotate 45 degrees, unlocking it from the barrel. This mechanical delay ensures that the breech remains completely sealed and locked during the peak pressure phase. Only after the bullet has safely exited the muzzle and pressure has dropped to atmospheric levels does the bolt unlock, extracting and ejecting the empty brass casing. While the rifle-style gas system successfully contains the Magnum pressures, it introduces a critical design drawback: excessive slide mass. A standard handgun slide is lightweight to facilitate rapid cycling. The Desert Eagle's steel slide and rotating bolt assembly weigh nearly 2 pounds, which is more than the entire weight of a loaded Glock. When fired, this heavy mass accelerates backward along the guide rails, compressing dual recoil springs. The shifting momentum of such a heavy slide moving back and forth creates a massive recoil impulse and severe muzzle climb, measured at over 35 Nm. This violent movement disrupts the shooter's aim, making fast and accurate follow-up shots nearly impossible in a combat situation. This extreme slide mass makes the Desert Eagle highly susceptible to a common handgun malfunction known as limp-wristing. In a standard firearm, the slide cycles relative to the frame. For this cycle to complete, the shooter's grip must act as a rigid anvil, holding the frame stationary while the slide moves. Because the Desert Eagle's slide is so heavy, it requires immense resistance to cycle. If the shooter fails to maintain a firm, locked wrist, the recoil forces push the entire frame backward alongside the slide. This reduces the relative velocity between the two components, preventing the slide from traveling fully rearward. The result is a short stroke, leading to stovepipes and failure to feed jams. Another major vulnerability of the Desert Eagle's gas system is its sensitivity to ammunition types. Most military sidearms can fire a wide variety of ammunition, including cheap or dirty surplus rounds. The Desert Eagle, however, requires high-velocity jacketed ammunition. If a shooter fires unjacketed lead bullets, the high-pressure gas shaves lead from the bullet base as it passes the gas port. This molten lead is carried into the gas tube and gas cylinder, where it solidifies. Over time, lead and carbon deposits clog the tiny gas port and cylinder, reducing gas flow. This undergasses the piston, leaving it with insufficient force to cycle the heavy slide, leading to frequent cycling failures. Beyond mechanical issues, the physical dimensions of the Desert Eagle impose severe combat limitations. The grip is exceptionally wide to accommodate the long 50 Action Express cartridge, making it difficult to hold for shooters with average-sized hands. The weapon's overall length and height make quick holster draws slow and clumsy. Furthermore, the massive size of the cartridge limits magazine capacity to only 7 rounds, compared to 17 rounds in standard sidearms. Carrying 4 pounds of steel on a tactical belt is fatiguing, and the lack of a dust cover or seal on the guide rails means mud, sand, and dust easily enter the slide recesses, binding the action immediately. In conclusion, the Desert Eagle is a marvel of mechanical scaling, demonstrating how rifle-grade gas operation and a rotating bolt can be packaged into a handgun. However, in achieving this power, it trades away the very features that define a successful combat weapon: lightweight maneuverability, recoil control, ammunition capacity, and dirty environment reliability. It is a legendary range novelty and collector's piece, but a highly impractical combat sidearm. What mechanical system should we dissect next? Share your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to Arsenal Anatomy, and we will see you in the next mechanical breakdown.